Hi, my name is Frederick Torres, and in this video I'm going to show you querying Sumo Logic backend using flog viewer. First, you need to open the special data source named Transact SQL Document DB App Insights, Sumo. I already prepared an empty file with extension SQL. For now, the file just displays a bunch of information. Right-click Edit. The file is open in SQL Server Management Studio because of the SQL file extension. I also like to work with SQL Server Management Studio. First, we have the connection string. The first token is a name, whatever you want, then a Sumo tag with an S uppercase and a colon. Then we have the Sumo access ID and the key, and finally the Sumo URL. Make sure you pick the right URL from your Sumo configuration. Let's define the time range. I ended up using the same syntax as App Insights. We have the keyword time span, and I want to pass 2 hours. PT stands for past, H for hour. You can also select the past 20 minutes, or you can specify a date range using this exact date format. Then I am defining the list of columns that I want to be displayed. I do not want to see all available columns. Now let's write a first query. I am going to query for rows that contain the word user access. Enter the word query in lowercase, and whatever follow on the right is a strict Sumo query using the Sumo syntax. I am going to press Ctrl S to save the file and switch back to flog viewer. The file change is detected, and now my query is executed. Here is the data. You can see that a query in Sumo have a state created, gathering done and deleted, and then we restart the cycle. We will later see the concept of final query. When you return data, there are always a maximum number of rows. For now, I have 5 rows. But if I want to limit the number of rows returned to the last 2, in my script I can type before the query limit 2. I save the file. And now I only see the last 2 rows, though I can tell from the count property display on line 12 that the total number of row matching the query is 5. I am going to set the limit to 1000. The maximum number of rows that flog viewer can return is 200,000. Now I want to show the concept of pre-query. Since with flog viewer you can run multiple queries in the same file and have the results in the same view. You may want to avoid to repeat part of the query that are shared. For example, you may always want to select the environment, for example, QA or production. For this, you may define a pre-query. I am going to use the column source category to introduce a pre-filtering. As with query type, the keyword pre-query, and after any Sumo syntax, I am going to say I want source category to be equal to the string HTTP input. I am saving the file. This is going to give me the same result with a small difference. Here we have the query, and here we have the final query, which combine the pre-query and the query. And the idea is that you do not have to repeat over and over again the part in the pre-query. Now let's go back to the pre-query. I'm going to show you how to use a wildcard. I want to set the pre-query to source category HTTP, and this is giving me the same result. One of the flog viewer philosophy is that we can execute as many query as we want in one file and therefore get multiple result sets in one view. That is sometimes handy when looking for an issue. I want to extract the resource GUID. I am going to find the keyword resource, the colon. Then I'm going to take everything up to the comma. I am going to store the information in a column called URL. flog viewer is picking up the change and is rerunning both queries. And now I have the result of both queries. In the second data set, I have the same column plus in first position the column URL. I can now request to only display the URL column. Here is my new data set. I should have called it something else because it is not a URL. We could execute a count on the resource ID. Since all the resource IDs are unique, then we get a count of 1 for each. And to finish, we could show the top 2. These are typical Sumo queries executed from flog viewer.